spirits will die. But change don't come easy, you gotta believe me. It ain't gonna happen overnight. No, change don't come quickly, no, not particularly.
Hi everybody,
It takes
welcome to the
time to
channel
make it.
Dad's Night to Cook. I'm your professionally amateur, always tasty, and I know you know it's tasty because you've been trying out these recipes, right? Non-time consuming, full menu home cooking dad, Chef Manny, letting you all there know when it's your night to cook. You do not have to pick up a phone and order takeout because a home cooked meal could be found in your pantry, in your refrigerator, or wait. Now, listen up, y'all. Tonight, we are going to be making an Italian staple. It should be a household staple. Lasagna. Yes, sir, lasagna. All right, now, my version of lasagna comes half Italy, half Haitian, half Caribbean. I melded the two together like this. So it's got a little bit of twist on it. So you'll see what we're going to need for this lasagna meal. Now, accompanying the lasagna, we're going to make some asparagus. Different things could go with a lasagna. You can be a caprese salad, which is tomato mozzarella. You can just have a regular garden salad. You can have a Caesar salad, whatever. But I'm going to have asparagus with my lasagna. And we're going to make some homemade garlic knots. So go ahead, go take a look at what you need for your ingredients. And let's come back and make this Haitian lasagna. All right, on Dad's Night to Cook. Okay, y'all, let's get our lasagna going. Now, the reason I call it Caribbean lasagna is because, in particular, I like stuff, like if it's an Italian or some kind of different cultural dish, I like it to taste the way I'm used to it. And I grew up with a Caribbean flavor palette growing up. So that's what I do. Now, if someone wants, like when I do my catering or private cooking or whatever, and they just want plain Italian lasagna, I make the plain Italian lasagna. But I have a particular palate, and if I'm cooking for you and you want something to go, what the hell was that? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the little twist up in it, and the twist is always my Caribbean palate. So let's go and get this stuff done, and it's not a regular lasagna. So don't be expecting no boring regular lasagna up in here. It's gonna have a Caribbean twist, so that's why I call it. So as you can see, we have our 4 different meats. We have our stew, we have our Angus beef, we have our ground beef, and of course we have our sausage. Now, again, my store did not have ground hot sausage. I like to use the hot. So I just got the sausage links and I cut it down the center to uncase them. So you're just gonna slice it down the center and you just peel the casing off. Simple, wimple. And there you have it. That's uncasing your sausage for your lasagna meat. All right. Now, the first thing you should know is that this is slow cooked, okay? The meat will be slow cooked because we want it to just fall apart, be like tender and just nice in this lasagna. So we're going to cook it overnight on low for at least 8 hours. Oh, yes. Okay, let's get this going. Let's put our meat in. So I got my crock pot on low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the meat that's going to take longer to cook, which will be our stew meat, okay? So this is just chuck. So some beef chuck, and that's going to take a little longer to cook. So we're going to add that to the bottom, and we're going to add all our seasonings and liquids and all of that, and it's just going to be a slow cook. Then we're going to add our Italian sausage. And that's a hot sausage that I had links and I uncased them and put that in to there. Then I'm going to add my Angus, which I had strip cut. Like if you have a relationship with your butcher, you can have them strip it really thin and cut up and chopped up, or you can just get your sharp knife and do it yourself. But when you got a butcher that likes you and does little favors like that for you, why not? Okay, that's why you build these relationships. And then I'm going to add the ground beef to the top of my bath of meat. This is a meaty lasagna. You know what I can't stand? Let me get on here. Here's what I can't stand. when you have a lasagna and they say there's a meat lasagna like we're going to be having, and you can't find the meat, that's the So we're going to have a meat lasagna. There's over 4 pounds of meat up in there. Let's go. All right, so we got our meat in, all our meat into that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add my vegetables. All right, so we're going to add the onions. I got the red onion diced up, the yellow onion diced up, and my green peppers diced up in there. So we're just going to lay it in there like a layer. Just, you don't have to mix this thing yet because later on we're going to mix it up. So it's just a layer of our vegetables. Now, we're going to add the seasoning that we have from our mise en place. Okay? So we add the seasoning. Again, a layer. This is going to all get mixed up, but we're going to start it out as a layer of goodness in there. Then, we're going to add our brown sugar. Okay? Again, a layer. All right. So when I add tomatoes, I always add sugar. Now what I'm going to add is all my tomatoes. My tomato sauce, my diced tomatoes, and that 1 can of, I'm telling you, that 1 can of which makes this dish. Ooh, I'm telling you, you might just want to slap your mama. You might want to slap her back twice with the backhand. That's how good it's going to taste when you put that can of stuff up in there. Trust and believe. Now we're going to add some of the final stuff. We're going to add the garlic and jalapeno. Just for a little added. Pow, 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 pow. It's going to be a lot of liquids in there, but you got to remember there's quite enough beef in there for it to take to it. And it's just going to be slow cooked. And then I have my beef broth with my red wine mixture in there. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to get a spoon, and I'm just going to make sure that the liquids get down there just by moving it a little bit. We don't want to mix it quite yet. We just want to make sure that the beef on the bottom gets enough liquid so this thing can slow cook. Like I said, you're going to put it in your crock pot for at least 8 hours. That's the minimum. That's the meat for the lasagna. Ready to go in our crock pot on low. So what you do is you set it, push that thing back. Done. And then we'll put the lasagna together before we bake it. All right, y'all. Before we put our lasagna together, we got to get the soft cheese portion of it ready. Now, there's 2 different schools about lasagna and the soft cheese that goes in it. All righty? There is the ricotta cheese. The ricotta cheese is a soft white cheese that it's a milky cheese, and that is traditionally what goes into lasagna. However, that ricotta cheese is expensive. Okay? So Chef Manny, he does budgeting. He does budgeting cooking. I'm a professionally amateur home cooking dad. All right? With a budget. The churn costs a lot of money. So I started using, it's got the same effect. Basta. If you season that thing, ain't nobody gonna know. Ain't nobody gonna know. Nobody gonna know. Just put some ricotta cheese in there if you want a budget. Okay, ricotta if you want, but all right, let's get this going. And I am currently using 2 24 ounces because I'm making kind of a big pot of lasagna. I got all kinds of folks coming by getting a plate to come and eat this lasagna. So you gotta have enough for the folk to come and have a little bit of your lasagna. So I'm using 2 24-ounce tubs of cottage cheese. Cottage cheese. Now, one of the things you're going to use, and I didn't put the list up in there, we're just going to talk you through it, is I'm going to use a binder. So I'm going to crack 1 egg in there. Let me check this egg out, make sure it's okay. Okay, it's all right. So I'm going to put my egg in as my binder, and let's season it together. So what we're going to use is we're going to use 1 tablespoon of salt. 1 teaspoon, not tablespoon, 1 teaspoon of salt in our cheese mixture. Because it's going to have so much cheese, you're going to not need that much salt. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. We're going to use, you see here the trend? We're going to use 1 teaspoon of oregano. I know you hear the trend. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of dry parsley. And we're going to use 1 teaspoon of sweet dry basil. All right, we're going to use half a teaspoon of some black pepper. All right, that's your seasonings for your ricotta cheese. Give that a good mix. Get that binder going in there. Get it to bind your cheese, your soft cheese. It's a soft cheese, so we're going to need it to kind of bind. All right. All right, y'all. Now to the cheese goodness, we're just going to add some more cheese. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Parmesan flake in here. So I'm going to add about a cup of Parmesan cheese to my cheese. Oh, Lordy. And I'm going to add some mozzarella cheese to my cheese. Just so it can be some cheesy goodness. And we're going to reserve some of that mozzarella when we put it together. A lasagna together. We need a binder to bind this thing. And that's why I did not put that much salt. So this thickens it up just a little bit more. And when it melts, it's just going to melt into some ooey gooey mess of a mess. Okay. So there we go. Now I think we're about to be ready to put our lasagna together. All right. All right, y'all. Let's get this pasta thing together. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a little bit of my pasta sauce to line the bottom of the pan. I have sprayed it because I don't like nothing to stick to the bottom of my pan. Because who wants to spend all evening long trying to clean up the stuff that got stuck to the bottom of the pan? So I spray it, but we're going to lay a layer of this meat, some of this sauce up in here so it does not stick. Then we're going to lay our pasta shell. Now, I use 2 kinds. I use just the regular pasta shell. Then I get the kind that is like the no boil first kind of thing. I don't boil my pasta because my lasagna is so wet when it begins that it's going to cook the pasta for you. Don't need to cook it and then cook it again. That's some shenanigans. Don't waste your life like that. So, you have to do some magic. You have to break pieces off so they can fit, that kind of stuff. So you gotta work your Tetris geometric magic around here on this pasta. So you're gonna have all kinds of ends and stuff that you snap off and, just line it and try to do your best. Like, it's not always pretty, but it always tastes good. Well, I think it'll always taste good, but there you go. So I've done this. So what I'm going to do is, my first layer is going to get some cheese. And I'm going to go go with the grain, okay? When I lay my pasta out is when I do the reverse end. So you're going to kind of have to hold your pasta because it's going to kind of move on you like this mess is doing right now. So just ladle in healthy portions of your meat sauce. Just let it have it. It's a beautiful burgundy color because of the red wine and the tomato paste that we use, the tomato sauce. And I'm telling you, there's some ooey gooey, gonna be some ooey gooey goodness. Okay? And here's the point where you add your Parmesan cheese, your mozzarella cheese. So I continue to add Parmesan. You can use skimmed mozzarella and you can use whole milk mozzarella. It really does not matter. This layer is going to get the whole milk mozzarella. And then I top it off with some Parmesan cheese. You want all your layers to have the cheese. You don't have to put too much, but it depends if you're a cheesy kind of person. If you're a cheesy kind of person, No pun intended. I'm cheesy. Go ahead and put the cheese that you want up in there. All right. So now what I do is I put the layers. To me, they're horizontal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my pan to make it a vertical laying of the pasta shell. So I crisscross them. Go horizontal, then vertical, horizontal, and vertical. We're probably going to get a 3 to 4 layer lasagna out of this here today. Like I said, you're going to have to do your Tetris magic and have this thing geometrically fit. Because, you know, you got to work. You got to work this thing out. And there's our lasagna ready to go into a 300-degree oven. So what I do is I start it out in a 300-degree oven. And then I kick in with a foil, with foil on top, a tint of foil. And then what I do is I take for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And then at the last 40 minutes, I take the tint of foil off and let it brown the cheese on top until it's ooey gooey and delicious. There's a lot of liquid in there, so, you know, it'll take a little bit of time, but I do it slow. So I do it 300 to begin with for the first 40 minutes, just so it can cook the pasta through, okay? That thing was heavy.
Dad's night to cook. It is Dad's night to cook. From the pantry he'll take a look from a book to see what we'll dine on tonight. What you gonna cook, Dad? What we gonna eat? His recipe's great, it is a must. When he cooks, he makes believe and trust, and a wonderful meal on the table. Yummy for a tummy. It is Dad's night to